환영합니다. Welcome to K-Culture Dive, where we dive deeper into the heart of Korean culture. With K-entertainment issues, AI culture news, and today a focus on K-movies in our K-culture issues segment. And I'm your host, Kwon So-wa. Let's dive in. Joining me this Friday is our co-host Walter Lee. Hello, Walter.
Hello, Soa, and hello to our viewers watching at home. I'm Walter Lee here to co-host with Soa, and give you the latest in Korean entertainment news.
You're not gonna co-host against me, Walter,
No, not
you?
against you, no. It's not a competition.
It's collaboration.
Yes.
And we actually do have collaboration today. We're
Yes.
gonna have huge K-Enter news.
Indeed.
And actually...
Yes, I think, why not for once you started off today?
I see why you were talking about that against today,
Yes, yes, yes.
I'm going to introduce the first K-Enter
Maybe
news
you're going to
today.
take my job.
No worries, Walter. You're the K-Enter expert.
Yes.
But first off, renowned Korean director Park Chan-wook is heading to Cannes, which is nothing new for itself,
Yes.
but this time with a special role. So for that top news, we'll start off with this following report. South Korean filmmaker Park Chan-wook has been named jury president of the upcoming Cannes Film Festival. That makes him the first Korean to hold the position. Our culture correspondent Park Gun-woo has more.
Legendary movie maker Park Chan-wook will make history once again by becoming the first Korean jury president for this year's Cannes competition. The announcement was made on Thursday by festival organizers, who said Park will help select the winner of the prestigious Palme d'Or. In a joint statement, organizers said they chose Park for his inventiveness, visual mastery, and penchant for capturing the multiple impulses of women and men with strange destinies, noting that his work has created truly memorable moments in contemporary cinema. Park shared his thoughts, saying that even in an era of hatred and division, the shared experience of watching films in theaters can move hearts and create a sense of universal solidarity. Often nicknamed Cannes Park for his repeated success at the festival, he previously won the Grand Prix for Oldboy in 2004, the Jury Prize for Thirst in 2009, and Best Director for Decision to Leave 4 years ago. Korean movie makers have previously served as jurors 6 times, including Park himself in 2017. And this will mark his first return to the jury in 9 years.
It's actually a bit late to appoint him as the president, given all his achievements. This also reflects global recognition of Korean cinema.
The same film critic added that this is even more meaningful, as it could open doors for more Korean films to be invited and potentially awarded at the festival. Park will succeed French actor Juliette Binoche, who served as jury president last year when Iranian director Jafar Panahi won the top prize with It Was Just an Accident. And the 79th Festival de Cannes is set to take place in southern France from May 12th for around 2 weeks. Park Gun-woo, Arirang News.
That is some great news for Park Chan-wook, Korea, and the domestic film industry. And Walter, I hear there have been some positive reactions from the global media as well.
Yes, indeed. Many outlets actually have been quoting, it was in Konwoo's package there, the joint statement by the festival director Iris Knobloch, as well as Thierry Fremaux. Fremaux, sorry for my pronunciation there, but that was put out on the Cannes website, as well as British media describing the appointment as the return of a director beloved by Cannes.
Cannes. It's a silent S, Walter.
While French critics praised the direction for its coexistence of elegance as well.
And, why don't we ask our very own movie expert, Professor Sewell, later on his opinion as well.
It sounds like a good idea.
But, Walter, we have so much to fit in today's show, but we do have to mention the K-pop news of the day.
Yes, indeed. I think this is exciting news now. I hate to be one of those cliche blinks, but Blackpink in your area. It has all kicked off from last night at the pre-listening event when the lights signaling the closing of the National Museum of Korea went down, and then the signature Blackpink pink color lit up the exterior of the museum. Now, the collaboration with the museum, Blackpink have used the venue to celebrate their long-awaited third EP, Deadline, 4 years since their last album, Born Pink. Now, the museum is holding a special Blackpink lighting exhibit, which starts from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. for those interested, and that's going from February 27th to March 8th. Now, within the exhibition itself as well is a special listening zone, which will be set up inside along the path to history, so find that area, in the East Wing, where visitors can listen to the full album. This is available from 2 p.m. as of right now. That's today. This has been an incredible week for Blackpink as well, because they not only have celebrated their release, but they also hit that 1 million subscriber mark on YouTube, making them an exclusive part of the YouTube Red Diamond Play Button Club, along with 15 other YouTubers around the world. So that's a very exclusive club indeed.
That's a 100 million subscribers, right, Walter? If I'm correct.
100 million subscribers, yes.
And I think it definitely is the year of mega K-pop groups. We've got BTS and Blackpink. What can we ask more for?
Yes, indeed.
Well, thank you very much, Walter, for those updates, and stick around.
Will do.
And now let's go to our AI anchor Arirang for more on the culture front. Arirang.
Thanks, Sua. Here's your AI guide to the latest cultural headlines from Korea. Let's begin with our top story. President Lee Jae-myung and First Lady Kim Hye-kyung visited the National Museum of Korea on Thursday to view a special exhibition dedicated to Admiral Lee Sun-shin, Korea's legendary naval commander and national hero. The exhibition highlights the life and legacy of Lee, featuring some 370 artifacts, including the Nanjung Ilgi, a diary written during the Injin War fought against the Japanese invasion. After the tour, the first couple browsed Mute's branded merchandise available at the museum, showing particular interest in a miniature pensive bodhisattva. The Blue House stated that the visit was intended to reconfirm the spiritual foundation of Korea as a cultural powerhouse and to strengthen communication with the public. Ambassadors from 26 countries gathered at Jeonju Hanok Village in Jeollabuk-do Province on Thursday. Organized by the Governors Association of Korea, Jeonju City, and Korea's Diplomatic Corps, the event was designed to showcase and share the value of Korea's traditional culture and tourism assets. Guided by cultural commentators, the diplomats toured around Gyeonggijeon Shrine, which houses the royal portrait of King Taejo of Joseon, the founder of the Joseon dynasty. The ambassadors also experienced hanbok and visited traditional craft and paper museums, immersing themselves in the charm of Korean heritage. Jeju's tourism market is showing signs of a strong recovery. Jeju's special self-governing province says around 2,002,930 tourists visited the island from January to February 23rd, reaching the 2 million mark 2 weeks earlier than last year. Among them, around 275,430 were foreign visitors, up nearly 30% from the same period last year. Jeju has been rolling out aggressive marketing campaigns to attract both domestic and international travelers, including giving up to 300,000 won in local vouchers for group tours, and tailored travel programs targeting specific nationalities. That's all from me. Turning now to a quick look at more K-culture stories making headlines today.
Warm sunlight rests upon Jingwansa Temple, now a peaceful sanctuary for the people of Korea. But beneath this peaceful scenery, did you know that a secret held its breath for a century? It was 2009, during the renovation of an old building. As the wall was being torn down, an old bundle fell, revealing something no one could have imagined. Historic documents from more than 100 years ago. They were Korea's independence newspapers from the Japanese colonial era, wrapped in a very special Korean national flag. The hero who risked everything to hide that priceless bundle was Buddhist monk and independence activist Baek Chowol. In the dark era of Japanese surveillance, Baek faced a choice that could cost him his life. But he could not bring himself to destroy the independence newspapers. Instead of saving himself, he chose to save history and his nation. With his trembling hands, he hid them deep within the wall, safeguarding Korea's independence spirit for generations to come. Take a close look at the Korean national flag he used to wrap the papers. A hand-drawn Taegeukgi, a powerful symbol of resistance, boldly painted over the Japanese flag. Countless seasons passed along the path Venerable Baek once walked. After many long winters, it has now become the peaceful forest trail we walk freely today. On this March 1st, Korea's Independence Movement Day, let us all remember that every step of the peace we enjoy today is built on the unwavering courage and enduring hope of Korea's independence fighters.
South Korean hit historical film The King's Warden is bringing renewed attention to one of Korea's most tragic royal stories. Visitors are now traveling to Yeongwol, where the young king Danjong spent his final days in exile. Our Jung Hye-rim was there.
Dozens of people line up at the Cheongryongpo Dock in Yeongwol, Gangwon-do Province. Once the inescapable exile grounds for King Danjong, who was banished by his own uncle at just 16 years old, it is now a bustling tourist hotspot. Driven by the hit film The King's Warden, visitor numbers here have surged more than fivefold compared to last year. Surrounded by the Seogang River and steep cliffs, the only access is by boat. Visitors can ride a boat into Cheongryongpo, tracing the exiled king's path across the water. And as you can see behind me, the once lonely journey is now bustling with people. Upon stepping off the boat, visitors are greeted by a dense pine forest. Further inside, they explore the stone monument which marks the original site of the king's exile and his reconstructed royal residence. Tourists walk around curiously, taking the site's solemn atmosphere.
I watched the movie The King's Warden, and since we had already planned a trip to Yeongwol to visit the observatory, I thought we definitely had to come here too.
Among the site's landmarks is the Gwaneumsong pine tree and Mangyangtap, a stone tower he built while longing for home. Many visitors say the film has given deeper meaning to what they see.
At first, I was just admiring the scenery because the water was so clear. But then I remembered the movie scene where the raft breaks apart in the water. It made me realize just how miserable he must have felt.
Tourists are also visiting Jangneung, the royal tomb where King Danjong was eventually laid to rest. Around the burial area, which is said to be significantly smaller and further from the capital than the tombs of other Joseon kings, visitors can be seen taking photos, carefully reading the information boards, and quietly paying their respects.
Coming to Jangneung and thinking about the harsh life and struggles King Danjong endured breaks my heart. I hope this tragic story is passed down to future generations.
People also stop by the commemorative pavilion honoring Omungdo, the loyal villager who, according to legend, recovered and buried the king's body. Less than a month since its release, The King's Warden is already nearing 7 million viewers. The film is drawing visitors to historic sites tied to the young king, reflecting the Korean public's continued effort to remember and honor their past. Jung Hye-rim, Arirang News, Yeongwol.
As we just saw in the report, The King's Warden is approaching 7 million admissions. Since the Lunar New Year holiday, many are saying the atmosphere at movie theaters has noticeably changed. Is this just a temporary holiday boost or the beginning of a genuine recovery for Korean cinema? To discuss this, we're joined by Jae Sool, filmmaker and professor at Seoul Institute of the Arts. Welcome back, Professor Sool.
Hello, nice to be back.
All right, so before we go into our main topic today, we must ask you, what did you think about the news that director Park Chan-wook is going to be the jury president at Cannes?
It's about time, is my reaction. You know, he's been a darling of Cannes, Film Festival because he won the Grand Prix with the Old Boy in 2004 and also won the jury prize for, The Thirst. And then in 2022, he won Best Director for Decision to Leave. So, he's a I think the representation of Korean cinema itself. So I think it's congratulations to Director Park, but I think, yeah, well-deserved as the jury president, for sure.
Definitely great news. And now, Professor Sewell, many say that the mood at theaters here in Korea has recently shifted. So let's talk about the domestic box office, especially with the successful movie, The King's Warden.
As the report just showed, we're nearing, like, I think it's something like 6.7 million people, and I think by the weekend's end, we'll have surpassed 7 million. So it's a movie that I think nobody thought would do this well, because, a sageuk or a traditional Korean film, the last time it's done well, it's been a long time, but with the box office success of King's Warden, now it's, I think the last film that did this well was last year, I, Executioner, and then My Daughter is a Zombie was around 5 million. So I think we're seeing numbers now that are much healthier than, I would say pre-COVID levels. But I was also expecting Human to do just as well, but the box office now sitting around 1.6 million for that movie as well. So I think Korean movies are now sort of like moving into a different era where we're having sort of mid-size level films, also sort of big budget movies, and then sort of the low budget movies as well. So we're seeing a diversity of films. But I'm really happy that The King's Warden's doing well. The director Chang is a graduate of the Seoul Institute of the Arts, and he's been making movies for a long time, and his wife's a really famous writer as well. So I'm really happy for him for this movie.
Right. And The King's Warden came out around a certain time during the holiday season. So should we see this success as a holiday-driven surge, or as a meaningful sign, a signal or sign that the Korean cinema is regaining momentum, do you think?
Well, if you want to compare it to pre-COVID levels, it's very low. But at the same time, compared to last year's holidays around the same time, we actually had one day less this year. But in basically 6 days, we did 3.65 million people went to see both Human and King's Warden. And so that's about a 60% surge in the box office numbers from last year. That's a good sign. And I think also holidays are, when everybody gets together to be with family, and then you have a lot of kind of downtime to go out drinking with your friends or see friends or watch movies. So it's a very healthy sign that, audiences now are like turning to movies again. So hopefully I think we're going to turn a page and more people will go see movies. But as you know, because of things like, Netflix and things like that, people are choosing to watch movies at home.
Right. Professor Sewell, you did mention the pre-pandemic levels. We did have bigger numbers in the past, but what do you say is the biggest reason for the decline in audiences at theaters?
Well, I mean, people have said it has to do with COVID, but I think the structural changes have definitely happened because of that. For example, audience behaviors have changed. Before, people were really willing to go see the new movie in the theaters. Now, I think more people are kind of staying at home to watch what's playing. And the other big factor is the price of the ticket itself. The theaters were a little greedy because they lost money, and so they really upped the price to even, I think, like 20,000 won for a movie theater on a weekend, which is too much for a lot of people, because with that price you can watch it, at home for much cheaper. But the final thing is basically, I think Korean cinema was stuck in a mode of, showing certain kinds of movies, I would say, like the Roundup series, where there's a lot of, action and criminals and people fighting each other. And I think people were getting sick of those kinds of films. And now we're seeing, turning the page, King's Warden's a very traditional story about, like, history. And people are, like, very hungry for other kinds of cinema. So I think right now Korean cinema is going through sort of, I would say, a growing process of just changing itself to be more attractive to audiences so that they would flock to see it in a theater, for sure.
Right. And just before, you mentioned ticketing prices, right? And this has obviously become a big concern indeed. But this is not just unique to Korea itself. This is more of an international situation as well. Talking about international, are there any approaches to addressing the issue of ticketing or ticketing prices that maybe even Korea could adopt?
Right. So one of the things that Korea is now looking into, the government, is sort of the subscription-based model. So it's sort of like what you pay monthly for your Netflix or your Disney Plus or Wave. They're saying that you could pay a flat fee they haven't decided what that fee would be, and basically if you pay that, you can see unlimited number of movies in the theater. So they're pursuing these sorts of subscription-based sort of movie pass systems.
Right. Speaking of that system, I think it's actually a very good idea. I think I would definitely be one of the people who would try to watch more movies if I do pay that flat fee for that. But do you think this is going to work in Korea? Because I think it's been implemented in countries like France already. So do you think it's going to work?
Well, in France, I believe it's 20 euros, and you get to see as unlimited numbers. The way the movie tickets work is like, the distributor and the investor and the exhibitor, they sort of share this kind of model. And I think sort of the criticisms about the subscription models is coming from more the sort of the exhibition side and the side that makes the movies, because they kind of feel like, if there's a movie that, for example, is a huge hit like, King's Warden, but you paid only a certain amount of money, you're not going to get that 7 million ticket sales. So I think we're going to have to try this model, but at the same time, because so many people aren't coming to see movies in a theater, if there's a ticket that you can buy at one point and then you just could use it unlimitedly, then I think more people will flock to theaters to go see it. And I just remember the theatrical experience is really different because you're going to see it with a bunch of strangers, and then you kind of breathe with the audience and you really kind of realize something is happening that you wouldn't really necessarily get at home. So hopefully, whether it's subscription-based or a pass system, just getting people into the theaters is our main sort of, I think, goal here.
And another proposal being discussed on the table is what's called the holdback system, which is where films would require to remain exclusively in the theaters for a certain period before going onto a streaming platform. I mean, similar to what's happening now, there are a lot of movies that are exclusive to theaters and then come out. How do you view this policy exactly?
I actually like this policy better than the pass system, because what happens is, right now, every OTT sort of series that comes on, there's a big launch for it, you see it on social media, and suddenly, you're watching it that day. And I think right now, the way to sort of increase people to coming here is basically holding it back for about 6 months is what the government is proposing, I think. But of course, the streamers are really unhappy about that. And I don't know if you know about this sort of sale of Warner Brothers that's happening in Hollywood. It's a big deal between Paramount trying to buy it, Netflix trying to buy it. I just heard that Netflix just left the deal. But Netflix, if they had bought Warner Brothers, their whole system was going to be basically for movies, they're going to not show it on their streamer for a month. So they already are thinking about things like that. So this model, if it goes into implementation, I think it's a better deal because maybe even show the sort of a new series, like the first episode, in the movie theaters. If you have a system where movie theaters are now utilized as a platform for OTT to launch their new stuff, and then you hold it for, you can show it in the movie theaters for maybe 2 to 3 months, and then you actually start launching it on your platform. I think people will flock to see a new thing. But right now, the way a lot of these OTTs are working is they use basically film festivals as a launching pad. But it'd be really great if every single OTT is required by law to show a new series in a theater. And of course, they get to keep the proceeds of that as well. So I think just getting people to the theater system and the holdback system, I think, is definitely something to look into. But of course, the investors, the OTT themselves don't really like that system.
But if that does happen, that would mean there would be some synergy between OTT platforms as well as the movies that are bound for the theaters. But last but not least, Professor So, which movies are you looking forward to coming up in the rest of the year? And do you think there is a chance that we will return to a 10 million admission era back again?
Sure. I think it just depends on the movie. I think as Koreans love to do, it's they want more bang for the buck. So usually it's a movie that's kind of a grand scale, I would say Exuma was one example like that, or Avatar, things like that, an event. So there are two movies that I want to sort of promote. One of them is Yeon Sang-ho's Colony, which is coming out really soon, and it's a zombie apocalypse. He's a director of Train to Busan, so this gentleman has done a lot of movies about sort of the apocalypse happening, Hell is like another example on Netflix that he showed. So I think The Colony is going to be huge with Kyugyo-an, Chun Ji-yeon, a lot of big stars in it. And then the other sort of big movie is The Hope, which is Na Hong-jin's new film. He's the director of The Wailing. And this movie is kind of an international cast. It has Michael Fassbender, Alicia Vikander. Also it has, Hwang Jung-min, a lot of Korean big stars. So this one's set in the DMZ, and there's some sort of virus that comes through. So it's a sci-fi movie, kind of big scale, so everybody's really looking forward to that. And I think definitely a movie worth experience to go see it theatrical. So hopefully these movies will draw audiences to come back. But I do think like there will be movies that again will hit the 10 million mark in cinema for sure.
If it's your pick, I'm definitely going to try to watch it on the big screen. And thank you very much, Professor So, for your insights and time today. And have a great weekend.
Thank
You too. Bye.
And thank you, Walter, as always. Have a great weekend and see you back next week.
See you next week.
Thanks for watching and your interest in everything K-Culture. K-Culture Dive will be back on Tuesday, 2 p.m. after an extended weekend as Korea commemorates March 1st Independence Movement Day. See you then and keep diving.